Hello everybody! Today I will be telling you about our Thailand trip that took almost a month, and in this video I'm planning to talk about the route we took, expenses, how much we spent, where we stayed, and what to do in each places, and some suggestions as well at the end. I'm starting the video with the route we took. We started from Bangkok. We flew from Vancouver to Bangkok. And then from Bangkok we took a flight to Krabi, and then right away we took a ferry to Koh Phi Phi. We stayed in Koh Phi Phi, and then we took a ferry back to Krabi. We stayed in Krabi, and then we took a minivan to Phuket, and then after staying there we took a bus plus ferry to Koh Samui, and then we took a ferry from Koh Samui to Koh Phangan, and then we took a ferry plus bus to Bangkok to fly to Philippines. So this was the whole route. The route we took. Should I just... Okay, I should just check out if I can say that word. I don't know why I keep saying route.
Route.
Wait, what? It's route.
Route. Route.
Why, what? Fuck, I said it wrong. Okay, it's not route, it's route. Yeah. Should I start again? Fuck. So I will go in details for each places. And we started from Bangkok. So how... Okay, so I'm starting with Bangkok. From Vancouver, we bought the ticket to Bangkok through Tokyo, and I think we bought it like a month before, and I think it was around 570 Canadian. We landed to Bangkok and we used the Grab app to go to the hotel. Don't use the taxis. Everyone suggested us to use Grab. Bangkok has some scammers, so be careful with that. We stayed in Bangkok for 7 nights, which is pretty long. But eventually we were happy we booked it for 7 nights because Hector actually got sick from the food. So he was like recovering for like 2 days or something. And also we thought about the jet lag too, which took like a few days for me. I was sleeping at like 6 p.m. Where we stayed in Bangkok was next to Khao Son Road. We really liked the hotel. The hotels I like, I will write down the names. But we didn't really like the Khao Son Road. When you're walking through the Hardy Road, everyone is like trying to like walk in front of you and stop you and like try to invite you to the restaurant, which is like pretty hard to walk in that street. But I'm happy we stayed there because it's close to Paris. The bus is right close to it, so we were like taking the bus to go to places in Bangkok. And the places we visited in Bangkok was the Grand Palace, like every tourist, it's a must. We went to the mall area. We're gonna do the floating market and the train railway market. So Hector was sick, so he couldn't join, so I did it alone. Floating market was pretty empty. That didn't really worth it, but the train market was pretty interesting. What happens there is, I think once a day right now after COVID, the train goes through the market and the market is right next to the railway. So right before the train comes, everyone picks up their food and like put it right next to the railway, and then the train comes and then they put it right after back where it was. So that was interesting, but it's just like it takes like 2 minutes. You just go there to watch that, and it's pretty crowded because every tourist goes to just like see that moment. When we were in Bangkok the first day, we almost got scammed. I'm linking the video here. Most of the places I vlogged, so if you're curious about a certain place, you can check that video. This was pretty much Bangkok, and then we're going to the next place, Krabi. So instead of going to the north of Thailand, we decided to go to the south, to the islands, because we thought we will stay in Thailand for a month. But right now I'm thinking I wish we would extend it and then like do the actual like every places in Thailand. So we didn't go to the northern parts, which are Chiang Mai, Chiang Rai and Pai. They're pretty popular. and we just skipped those and took a flight to Krabi. We were thinking about taking a bus, but the flight was not that expensive, so we were like, okay, let's just take the flight. It was, I think, 46 Canadian, and we just booked the flight one day before. For flights, we just use Skyscanner, and then from Skyscanner we just choose the cheapest website. It's usually trip.com. And for the flight, we also needed to include our baggage as well, so that was like extra price because our backpacks are bigger than carry-on size. After we flew to Krabi, from the airport, it's a pretty small airport. From the airport, we just got a ferry ticket to go to Koh Phi Phi the same day. So the flight was pretty early because the ferries, you can check the times of it online. I think the last ferry was at like 3 p.m. or something, so we got the early ticket. And then we got the ferry ticket in the airport, and then we took the ferry to Koh Phi Phi. In Koh Phi Phi, we stayed 4 nights. So we started our trip in May 20th, and then we stayed until like June 18th. So it was showing that the west coast of Thailand will be rainy season, but the east coast will be dry season. And when we arrived to Koh Phi Phi, it was raining a lot. Like, we were thinking rainy season should be fine, like it rains and then it moves. By the way, they don't see me. The window from outside to inside, it's black, but I can't see them. What was I saying? When we arrived to Koh Phi Phi, it was raining a lot, so we booked there 4 nights, which was a bit a lot, but it's worth it because it was raining the first 2.5 days. So we were able to do the popular hike in Koh Phi Phi and the popular boat tour in Koh Phi Phi in the last days. They also have fire shows and a Muay Thai show, which is pretty funny as well. Like, at first 2 child fights, and then they invite people from the crowd, so tourists fight, and there was like 2 girls fighting as well. That was the best fight we watched that day. And in Koh Phi Phi there is no cars, so you just walk to wherever you're staying. So it doesn't matter where you're staying that much, just make sure from the hotel reviews that it's not uphill. The boat tour was pretty nice, but because of the rain the water was not too clear. So I'm sure that boat tour will be the best when you do it in the dry season. So after Koh Phi Phi, we took the ferry back to Krabi. And Krabi was like one of the favorite places in Thailand that we've been, because they have Riley Beach. You can only access there through a ferry, and I will suggest you to stay there rather than doing a day trip. They had a road with caves to go to the beach on the back. It was very nice. Other than that, we did Tiger Cave hike. It's like 1,000 steps, and from the top the view is amazing. And you see like a lot of monkeys on the way. It was very nice. Like, we were taking the stairs down and then the monkeys were like right next to us. It felt like we were walking through monkeys' nature. Other than that, we also did the elephant sanctuary visit when we were there. Normally, like, it's very popular to do it in Chiang Mai in the northern Thailand, but we did it when we were in Krabi. Just make sure that the places don't ride the elephants. That's the main thing. Like, 10 years before this, people didn't really know it, but right now tourists have a better idea of not doing it, which is great. And in Krabi, we stayed in Ao Nang rather than the Krabi town. I really liked Ao Nang. It was more like a beachy vibe. And now from Krabi, we went to Phuket. We were not sure if we were gonna go. We were thinking about just like skipping Phuket because we heard that most backpackers don't go there. But I'm very happy we did. It was a great place. We took a minivan to go to Phuket. We stayed there only 2 nights. Because at that point, like, we were realizing we still have so many places to go, but we don't have that many nights left. We stayed in Phuket town this time, but I will suggest the Patong area. There are like so many restaurants, so many things open at night, so for sure like we would stay there if we would know that there was that big of a difference. In Phuket, we visited the Big Buddha. We visited like after closing hours and they let us in. There was no one, so that was very nice. We visited the Monkey Hill. That was very nice as well. We saw so many monkeys. And you can also feed the monkey there as well. Like other places we saw, you cannot feed the monkeys, there are signs. But there they were selling bananas to feed the monkeys, and Hector bought some bananas, and they almost like one of the monkey almost kind of like attacked him to just like grab the banana bag. And then we also saw another couple almost getting attacked by monkeys because they just stopped by next to like 30+ monkey and opened their scooter that has all food in it. So it's not clever to do it next to monkeys. So after Monkey Hill, we went to a beach called Kata Beach, and we realized people surf there. So we got a surfboard and tried surfing for 1 hour. Hector was pretty good at it, but not me. Like it was pretty harsh on me, the waves. For beginners, I don't know how good of a place that is, but yeah, like it's still nice to try. We also went to the Bangla Road, the popular Khao Son Road of Phuket. So there, like, I don't know, that road was crazy, to be honest. It was much better than Khao Son Road. It was very alive. It's pretty wild. There are like ping pong shows that they try to make you watch. Like everyone is like, ping pong show, come join. And it's pretty, I don't know, like it's not for me. So many tourists go and watch that. Like it's pretty popular in Thailand. Patong area that has the Bangla Road, it was a nice area. It was very alive. So many like night markets were there. We thought about extending our stay there, but we were eventually like, okay, like it was nice. I think we saw the must-do things. So we left to Koh Samui. So we took a bus and then a ferry to Koh Samui. It was almost like a day trip. In Koh Samui we stayed 3 nights, and then in those 3 nights we were in Chaweng area. But later on we realized that Lamai area is better than Chaweng, so I will suggest that. I think it's like more alive at night. In Koh Samui we did a perfect hike. On top of the hike there was a waterfall with an infinity pool. It was the best place. We visited the temples. There are like lots of temples, and some of them are kind of like floating temples. It's a huge like Buddha statue. And towards sunset we went to a place called Jungle Club. It's a very like luxury place, so we just got to one drink and shared that drink. In our last day in Koh Samui we actually did a Pig Island tour. For those type of tours, if you try to get it from tourism offices, they're always more expensive. So try to go to the pier and try to like arrange it yourself with the person right away, because tourism offices get commission. Tourism offices get commission from that. And we did the Pig Island tour. We saw some pigs at the beach, and the water was pretty clear there as well. And then on the way back we did a snorkeling trip. And then after Koh Samui, the best island in Thailand, I think, we went to Koh Phangan. We stayed there 4 nights, but we should have stayed there longer. We arranged the trip for the full moon party. We stayed in Koh Phangan for 2 nights in the northern part, and then 2 nights next to the full moon area. But you shouldn't do that. So at first we stayed in Mai Had area, and then full moon parties in Haad Rin area. But you should just stay right in between where the pier is. So you should like stay in Tong Sala, I think, because that's the center of everything. And in all of the islands I'm talking about, except Koh Phi Phi, we rented a motorbike. For things to do in Koh Phangan, you should go see the Zen beach for sunset. I saw a very cute monkey. That was my favorite monkey I saw during this trip. We go to a beach that has an island, and the island is like connected with a sandbar to the mainland, which had a nice view. But it was a better view when it was high tide. We did a very nice hike called the Batu Beach hike. It was a little bit risky, a little bit sketchy. That's why like we only did the not sketchy part of it, but it's a great view. And for sunset we went to a bar called either 360 or 420. I think they changed their name. Weed recently became legalized in Thailand. When we were there we saw the news that it got legalized, so maybe that's why they're changing it to 420. That bar was very nice for the sunset as well, and we were able to see that island that gets connected with the sandbar from that bar. And other than that, we of course went to the full moon party. It was very nice. I also have a video from that, of course. I think if you're planning to come to Thailand, if you like the party environment, you should like arrange your trip according to full moon dates. That's what like almost everyone does. After Koh Phangan, we didn't go to Koh Tao, which was a little bit of a mistake because we heard so many nice things about Koh Tao. We didn't really have time left, but also when we searched for Koh Tao, we saw like some bad reputation about it. I don't want to talk about it right now because I already got scared, and that's why we didn't go to Koh Tao actually. But like you can just search Koh Tao and then it will show up, so you can like just choose yourself if you want to go or not. But it should be fine, but we didn't go, so you know. From Koh Phangan we took a ferry and then a bus. It was the most comfortable bus. It was a very big seat. We went back to Bangkok and then we stayed in Bangkok 2 nights. And at that point we were like, we really rushed Thailand, I think. Like every place it was like either 3 or 4 nights. But our goal was like making this trip more comfortable because we're on a Southeast Asia trip right now, and like we're planning to make this trip like 4 or if possible 5 months. That's why like it will be better if we will like take our time in each places, but we kind of rushed it because we got the visa on the entrance to the country, and if you want to stay more than 30 days you need to apply for visa extension in an immigration office. So that's extra money. So we were like, okay, like we can do it in 30 days. That's why we tried to do everything in 30 days. And when we were in Bangkok, we just wanted to chill and do nothing. So we found a hotel. It was pretty cheap and it had a rooftop pool. So we just like stayed there for 2 nights and then we took our flight to Philippines. And right now I am also in Philippines. So I will talk about expenses right now because everyone is curious about this. So what I did was I just like checked my bank account, how much it was in the beginning of the trip to Thailand and then how much it was at the end of it. And we are spending 55 Canadian a month for our travel insurance. We got it from SafetyWing. Like we just want to make sure that if something bad happens we don't need to pay, so the insurance can cover it. But how it happens is actually we didn't know. So we already went to like hospital 2 times so far. We got a motorbike accident. It was a small accident, but it happened. And we learned that like up to 250 USD, the insurance doesn't cover. If it's like more than 250 in total of all of the visits, then they start to cover it. And so far like it's less than 250 for us, so like we're just paying. But yeah, I guess like it's like that in all of the insurance companies. We just didn't know it in the beginning. We learned it after we went to the hospital. So I guess still like try to go to the public hospital. I don't know, because when Hector was sick in Bangkok, he just went to the most expensive like international hospital. And yeah, like he couldn't get the money back so far because it was still like a bit cheaper than 250 USD. So how much did we spend in Thailand in 1 month? We spent around 1,085 Canadian, which I'm very surprised. I thought we spent more than that. I don't know, like I thought we spent 1,500 or something. This price doesn't include the flights in or out, and it includes the insurance, 55 Canadian as well. I didn't calculate like each breakdown, but I will give you a vague idea. So the hotels we stayed was from like 12 Canadian to 25 Canadian a night, and we shared it with Hector. It was not cheaper for us to stay in an actual hostel with shared rooms, so we always got a private room. For the rooms, we always had the room with AC, and most of them had fridge. We tried to like choose the nice location for the hotel as well. You can find a cheaper place for sure than this, and you can always find a more expensive place too. Like we still went for the basic places. And then for food, after Hector got sick in Bangkok, we were like, okay, maybe we should take it very slow. So we didn't really eat Thai food. We were going with like Western food. And in the islands, like it's so easy to find Western food, except Bangkok. Bangkok, it was so hard to find a good food for us. Like when I say good food, like a food that our stomach is used to, because in Thailand you're gonna see places that like sells sticks outside. That meat stays outside uncooked for I don't know how many hours, and then they cook some of them and then they stay cooked there for I don't know how many hours. We still tried once and it was very tasty, but I don't know if it worth the risk for us. When you go to the markets, you see raw meat everywhere. They leave it from the morning to the evening. Thai people are used to eating this way, but not Western people, not our stomach is used to that. That's why we were very careful even with the vegetables. Like, we were not eating vegetables that you wash because their water also has some bacteria in it. I don't know, Hector got sick and it was pretty scary. So we tried to go with like more of the food we know, and that's why it was much more expensive. Where Thai food was 100 baht, Western food was 250 baht, so it was like more than double price. So we spent quite a lot for the food. And later on we discovered 7-Eleven. In 7-Eleven they have like ready to go food. They heat it for you and they're like sandwiches and they taste pretty good. So we started to do that after a while. That was our like trick to make the food for cheaper. And for those sticks we got, they were like 10 baht per stick, which was like very cheap. If you get rice next to it, like you're ready to go, you're full. And for the transportation, in Thailand there are so many tourism offices. Like, Thailand is made for tourists. It's so easy to travel around. For traveling from one city to another, you just go to that tourism office, ask how much the transportation is. They give you the options. They're like, there's this speed ferry, there's this like slower ferry, there's this bus to go there. Like, they give you all of the options, but usually they're a bit expensive. I don't know why, but like, we used twelgo.asia and usually it was cheaper, so we always booked it from there. But at some places, like, it was cheaper to do it from the tourism place. But you should negotiate. All of the islands except Koh Phi Phi and Bangkok, we got a moped. It was around 200 baht a day, but if you are getting it for more than one day, like, try to make it cheaper. If you want to make it cheaper, just walk away from that place, and sometimes they're like, okay, come, I'll give it to you. That happens almost like everywhere in Thailand, so try to walk away. Also, I don't know how to ride a motorbike, unfortunately, but if you're planning to come to Asia, you should learn before. I mean, you can, I guess, learn it here too, but like, even though Hector is very good at riding a motorbike, we had a crash. It was like a pretty unique experience, I guess, because it was dark and the road was dusty. But still, like, some roads are not very well done. You need to like be careful with your balance, I guess. I don't know how to ride it, but I should just learn it, seriously. I was alone in Philippines for a week and I didn't know how to ride motorbike, so I couldn't do some of the experiences I would want to do. So I think it's a must. And Hector also got his like international driver license, but we never got stopped by a police, so I don't know how much it was needed. But yeah, like, we heard that if a police stops you, they can ask for your international driver license, and if you don't have it, you might get fined. It didn't happen to us, but I'm just saying what I heard from a Facebook group. Okay, we're coming to the end of this video. So my other parts, suggestions. So first thing, when you're coming to these countries in Southeast Asia, when you're entering, they will probably ask for your return ticket. And you're a backpacker, so you don't have a return ticket. You're like thinking, maybe I'm gonna extend it, maybe not, who knows. But they still ask for it. What we do is, there is a website called onwardticket.com, and it's like $15. You pay it, that website books that return ticket for you, and it's like reserved for 48 hours. So you have your reservation code, and then they check it, they use that reservation code, they're like, okay, they have a return ticket. And we didn't really buy it beforehand so far. Like, if they ask it, you can buy it there. What about for laundries? So we're traveling for months and we need to do some laundries. In the street you see so many places that does laundry, and most of the hostels also have that option. They do it per kilo, and just try to not wash your stuff with the things you bought from Thailand, because they give their dye out. Like, this pants We did the laundry 2 days ago and I included this for washing as well. And it still looks white, but it was whiter unfortunately. So try to make sure either like wash them separate, don't really do it, or just like for the things that you know that it's gonna give its dye out. I don't know how to say it in English. Giving its dye out. You know what I mean. Just don't include them and try to wash them in the shower or something. What about swimming at the beach when you have your phone and your other valuables? I was stressing so much about it before coming to Thailand, and you just leave them at the beach and watch your stuff. That's what we're doing. But like still try to not bring a lot of valuables, I guess, if you're gonna feel more comfortable. And if you have a moped already, you can like lock your stuff in the moped, but you have the key of the moped, so you still need to like bring it to the beach with you. Like what we do is we just like put everything in my bag and then cover it with a towel, and then you just like watch it most of the time. Like it was okay, and it's not as stressful as I thought. And lastly, for booking hotels, so there is booking.com and agoda.com. Agoda is pretty popular in Southeast Asia, but I don't know, I guess like booking.com was always cheaper for me. That's why we always booked it through there. And I also learned that when you book like 10 hotels from booking.com, you get a discount after those bookings. So for the next places, booking.com pays like, I don't know, like 5% of the places you will stay. Try to get it from the same website, I guess. I don't know if I missed anything else, but yes, if you're curious about any of the places I visited with my boyfriend, you can check out that place from the Thailand playlist link I will put below. And if you have any other questions related to Thailand, you can comment and ask, and I will be answering it. And if you're curious about for our rest of the trip, you can subscribe and watch our next videos. Yay! Okay, I think this is it. I hope it's useful for anyone who is watching it. Probably it's a very long video. Right now I'm in the mood to talk, but I'm gonna stop recording and stop talking. But yes, the next video after this, it will be Philippines video. Stay tuned for that video. I will see you in that video. Bye bye.